Alright guys, welcome back to another astronaut UE5 tutorial. In this tutorial I am going to be showing you how to create a character select menu in Unreal Engine 5, which I said we were going to be creating in future videos in the previous tutorial that I made when I showed you how to have superclasses and subclasses in Unreal Engine, or at least the basics of it. Now I don't know about you guys, but I'm quite excited about this particular tutorial because in this tutorial we are going to be taking a look at how to have your custom character be selected and have the player choose between two or even more characters that you might have. And this is important because if you're creating a game, you don't usually want just one skin to be playable by the character. You're gonna want more of those, and today I'm going to show you how to unlock that skill. And by the way, if you don't have the Astro 2, because the Astro 1 was uploaded on Sketchfab by me, I also uploaded the Astro 2 character. So without further ado, let's get right into the tutorial. Here we are in the sample map 1, and I have created another map which is this non-visible map. The reason that I have created this map is because we are going to be using it obviously later on in the tutorial, but basically just create a new map right now and name it something like non-visible. This map right here is going to be crucial for our tutorial to work, but on the other hand you are not going to be using it much and the player is not gonna be able to see it really in the final project. This is why it's called non-visible, although it's not going to be completely non-visible. Alright, so basically just create a new map, and I would suggest that you do it like me, that you get this right here is not important, these things right here you can just go ahead and delete them. But basically, yeah, just create this cube right here, this floor that there is here, and then just some kind of wall and assign some kind of material to it. You can see I assigned this glowing, whatever that is, color changing material. Alright, now let's save that and go back to our sample map 1. I have created a new widget, which is nothing really, it's just the pause menu which I duplicated and changed some things. I'm gonna show you right now. Basically, the pause menu is the widget that we created a couple of tutorials ago, and if you don't know how to do that, go watch the tutorial. Now though, let's get into this widget. You can see we have this exit button right here, which I'm going to leave because we're going to be needing it in future tutorials, but for now I'm going to be disabling all the code. Name that character select, because this is where we're going to be selecting our characters. And now let me walk you through this really cool layout. Basically, I just wrote select character with a font size of 80, and then -40 was that. -40 and 20 were good values that I found, and just get this right here, this anchor. And yeah, don't worry too much about the exit widget, but basically if you want to create it, it's exactly the widget that the exit button that we had for the previous tutorial as well. I made a mistake and called it widget. Anyways, alright. And now these two buttons are completely new. Basically just get a new button and drag it into here. Use the center anchor that we are going to be having right here, and just set the values for that. And basically these values may seem bizarre, but they quite make some sense, because this is actually a screen that is 90 degrees rotated, so this is 1920 by 1080, but then I scaled that down 10 times. That is because it's rotated, it's 108 by 192, and then I scaled that up 4 times. So right here in the size X, write 108, and then multiply it by 4, and then here 192, and then multiplied by 4 as well. Alright, and you can see it's completely identical to this one. So yeah, that's how I did that. And now for the positions, just do -800 for this, and then for this to be in the completely symmetrical with that, you have to do 800, which is the absolute value of -800, and then divided by 2. And basically the position Y is going to be set to be the size Y divided by 2 as well, and then just get a minus in front of that. Hopefully that makes sense for you guys, that kind of way of thinking, but if it doesn't, just copy these values that I have right here. Now, okay, let me make the tint white for whenever it's not hovered, and yeah, we're good with that. Now obviously these are just buttons that do not have any code, as you can see here. If you scroll down to on clicked, you can see that we don't have any code. This is why the plus sign is here. And if you cannot see that, I explained that in the previous tutorial with the pause menu widget as well. Just tick each variable. This is going to be crucial because otherwise you're not gonna get this events panel down here. And if you want this each variable to be set at all times, just go to project settings, all settings, and now search for variable, yeah, and just go here, widgets, authorize automatic widget variable creation, and that is what's going to be having this each variable ticked all the time, which you basically want it. I don't know why it's an option to not have it as a variable, but anyways. Now if you remember, we have two characters. The second one I created in the previous tutorial that we made, and this is the Astro 2, and we have the Astro 1 as well, which is our first mesh, which we have been working with the whole time. And also these two are child classes of the astronaut superclass, which is basically the player character superclass. Alright, and now let's go. You can go ahead and go to the widget, and because the widget does not have an image or something, you can just upload an image from here. You can create some kind of image, some kind of screenshot, or from Blender you can render some kind of image for the characters, and then just just put them in there. But for now I'm going to show you how to do something which is more complicated. We are just going to go to the non-visible map that we created, and we are going to get the characters, not the characters actually, we're going to get the blueprint. So here is Astro 1 blueprint, and here is Astro 2. And also rotate these two 90 degrees in the z-axis and get their values to be the same. Get some here in the old classes. Just go here, scroll down all the way to S, and then we're gonna get from there a scene capture 2D, which looks like a camera. Place it in front of the character. Now go ahead and duplicate that by Control D. You want to scroll down here to texture target for this, and then get off of none, just click that, then render target to create a new render target. We're gonna be naming that Astro 1 select. Doesn't really matter, it's just going to be a texture basically, and we're gonna just put that in the just right here will be fine. We may move them in the future. Okay, and then for the other camera as well, render target is going to be Astro 2 select. Now you go here, you can see that we have the texture targets as some textures, and basically, yeah, I can see that they are too far away a little bit, so let's move this one. Let's open up the Astro 1 select. You can see it is a texture that is really low quality right here. Look at that. We don't really want our player to see that. It's gonna look bad. Okay, so here in the size X and the size Y, we can increase the resolution or decrease it as much as we want. But now there is another issue. The buttons that you can see that we have are not square. They are multiplications, sub-multiplications, if that's a word, of 1080 by 1920. So now we're gonna do that for this as well. So we're gonna get 1080 here, and then 1920 for this one. Alright, and you can see that this looks a little bit weird, but it's good. Now I'm gonna do the same for the second texture as well. We're gonna set the same values, 1080 by 1920. Looks a little bit weird, but that's just the angle, so we're gonna just pull those up a little bit. And now the game is not running, but basically these guys have animations, the idle animation specifically, so we're not able to see it now, but if I go and play from here, you can see that they have the idle animation playing, and the cameras are also hidden, so this is why they're not visible in the texture. But basically, yeah, ignore those errors. These are not important because this message will not be here for you. Anyways, now we have those textures. You might be thinking that it's time to set them for the button textures as here, but no, we're not gonna be doing that. We're going to be going here to content and then selecting both of these and creating a new material. Now you can see we have one material for each texture. I am going to go ahead and mess about with that. We have some changes to make. First of all, we're going to be going here and selecting in the material domain, not surface, because we don't want it to be a material for some kind of mess, but we are going to be selecting user interface. We're going to be setting the RGB to be the final color, then applying and saving. Alright, and now we're gonna do the same for the second material as well. We're gonna go from surface to user interface, then set that to be the final color, apply and then save. Alright, now it is time to go to the widgets and assign those as materials for here, and be sure to not select the render target but the Astro 1 select matte, and then Astro 2 select matte. Now again, these angles are not perfect. You can see that we have a couple of meters of space right here, but that's okay, we're not going to be worrying too much about that. And now that we have that, we want to create a widget, this widget actually, to be in the screen whenever we enter the game. So now let's go up in the level blueprint and off of event begin play, which is not here currently. Let's get the event begin play and then go here and create widget, and then off of constructor now we're going to get select class, and we're gonna be getting the character select widget, which is right here, and then not promote a variable, add to viewport. Okay, and this is it. Alright, but now you might be remembering the previous tutorial that I had created when I taught you how to change the default map, and now our default map is the sample map 1, which is the original map that we spawned in. We're not going to be getting that though for as the first map to be playing, and we're gonna be going here to maps and modes, selecting the game default map, and it's going to be the non-visible map. Remember that these two do not have to be the same. This editor startup map is the map that the developer starts working with. So now if we go here and start playing, you can see that we have these two buttons, and now you can see that we have the animations for the characters as well. So now let's go ahead and exit. Yeah, don't worry about these errors. We are going to be going to the select widget, no, not to the select widget, the open level blueprint, and then go here, and when you add to the viewport, set show mouse, because we want our mouse to be shown obviously, and then get player controller for here, player controller. Alright, now context sensitive, and then tick mouse cursor. Now you can see that if we spawn, we have the mouse cursor right here. Obviously these turn gray if you hover or click on them, so now let's go and just go here and then set the same materials for the hovered and clicked as well. Again, you want the material and not the texture. Now go here again, material. Alright, now let's go for the second one as well. And if you don't know what is going on here, I also have these in the pause menu tutorial as well, so if you have any questions, just go and watch that tutorial. Okay, and just so that we don't spawn as astronaut, I'm going to set none in the spawn mode, in the actor, in the default pawn class, in the pro mode, which is the game mode that we have. For our code to run whenever we execute anything really with this widget, because you can see that when we spawn, nothing really happens except for us clicking the buttons, which do not really work. So for that to work, we are going to go ahead and go to blueprints, create a new blueprint class, and that is going to be a game instance. Let's go here, let's find game instance. So that's it, that's game instance, create that, and we're gonna name that pro game inst. Don't really be scared or intimidated by the game instance, because we're not gonna be writing any code in here. We're actually going to just be creating a variable, and that's going to be the pawn variable. We're gonna name that character, and that's going to be a pawn. Let's get pawn. Okay, let's find that. Okay, pawn here, and we want a class reference, not an object reference, because this is going to be the class that we spawn as, that the controller, the player controller possesses. Now we're gonna go ahead and close that. But to apply the game instance, we don't go from the world settings or anything right here. We're instead going to be going to project settings, and we're gonna be searching for game instance. Okay, and now the game instance class is by default is gonna be a game instance that is just named game instance. We're going to just be getting our game instance, which is going to be the pro game inst, because that's how we get the variables. You can go ahead and close the project settings. Alright, cool. Now we have the game instance. We can go here to the character select widget, and then get this button, scroll down here all the way into the events panel, and get on clicked. And on clicked, we're going to be getting some code of here, obviously, and we're going to be getting the get actor of class. Now the actor of the class is going to be the Astro1, and the reason for that is going to be because we want to get the Astro1 character, which is this character, off of this button to be the character that we spawn as. Now let's go here back to the graph, and then off of return value, let's get class, because that's an actor. So we're gonna get the class of the actor, and we're going to be also casting to the game instance. Cast to game instance. No, not this instance. Pro game inst. Alright, now the thing is that here casting in Unreal Engine is a little bit tricky in general, but for the object wildcard in the game instances, it's pretty simple. Just get game instance. Alright, now we have that, and then off of here, let's go actually here and set character. Now we're setting the variable of the character, which is a pawn class, and then off of actor class Astro1, we're gonna get return value off of its class, and we're gonna set that to character. Hopefully that makes sense. But basically what we are doing is we're setting the character to be the Astro1. That's pretty simple. Now of the second button, we're gonna go all the way down here to the events tab again. We're gonna be, let's copy this code actually, copy paste, Control V to do that, and then or Control D simply to duplicate. Now obviously you want, okay, let's get them up here, and now you obviously want to remember to change the Astro1 and change that to be Astro2. Cool. Now we have these two buttons, and off of both cases right here, we are going to be opening the level. We're gonna be selecting to be doing that by name, so you have to make sure that you have the level's name correctly spelled exactly as you have set it to be. For us it is the sample map 1. Let's go here, and actually I'm gonna hit F2 to sort of let's rename it. We're not gonna be renaming it though. We're gonna be getting Control C to copy, and then in here Control V to paste, and now you know that you have it correct. And also you want to be removing the widget. Wait, so remove, no, we're gonna be doing that after that. Okay, remove from parent. So right here the target itself, and we're removing this widget from the viewport basically. Now let's do that. Alright, basically you can see that we have spawned actually in the level that is the main level, the sample map 1, but we do not have any spawn points, any transformations, anything. And basically the fact that we set the character to be, this character for instance, to be the character variable in the game instance does not mean that the character in the game instance is the character that we spawn as. So now let's go and fix that. We're gonna go to maps, sample map 1, and now we're gonna be getting the open level blueprint in the event graph, and we are going to be getting event begin play. Alright, and now off of that we're going to be cast to pro game inst. Now let's get the game instance again, get game instance, and basically that is the game instance that we set in the project settings. Alright, and as pro game inst, let's get character. Alright, now we have gotten this variable. Alright, now let's spawn actor from class. Alright, so spawn actor from class right here, and then the class is obviously going to be the character. Okay, the spawn transform. For the spawn transform is basically where we spawn. The spawn transform right here is basically where we spawn, and if we don't have it, there is going to be an error. So let's go here and let's get this right here. This is our where we spawned in previous tutorials. So we're going to be getting this. Let's copy that, and then here let's promote that to a variable, and now we're going to be naming that to location. Doesn't really matter, actually, not location, just spawn point. Alright, now for the spawn point, obviously this does not have any values here, so we're going to be pasting the value of the spawn point right here, and we're also going to be pasting the rotation, which I don't know why it is like that. We're going to just be setting that to 0, and I'm going to be setting that to 0 for here as well. Alright, now we have the correct spawn transform, and now you can see that I compiled and we get no errors. Now for here, let's try to adjust location but always spawn. Right, you can just select that. Basically it says that if it is colliding with anything, if you want it to spawn. Actually, let me move this a little bit. I'm going to be naming that, I'm going to be setting that to 125. Okay, now let's open the level blueprint and set that to be 125. But we can't spawn yet, because the game does not really know that this actor that is spawned is actually the player. So what we want to do is, of return value right here, we want to search for possess, and by default you're not going to be able to see it, so just anti-context sensitive, and over here, yeah, possess under pawn. And you can see that we still have one thing here, and that's the target. The target wildcard is just going to be just get player controller, not AI controller, player controller. And now the actor is being possessed by the player. If you had selected the AI controller, the actor that would have spawned would obviously be an AI. We don't need to try to adjust location because we know that we're gonna spawn, but just default. Go to the maps, non-visible. Now let's play, and you can see that we have spawned as the actor, the character that we have selected. We spawned in the right location and everything. And really quick, guys, remember the error messages that I got before? Yeah, those are because of the health bar. By the way, I have a really cool tutorial about health bars. I'm going to link that as well below in the description. But basically the health bar is going to cause some issues. Why? Because in the non-visible here map that we are starting for, and we're starting here so that we get the character select menu, we are playing as the default spawn in the pro mode, which is none, it is nothing, because we have not selected our character yet. So basically the health bar, if you remember what we did in the tutorial that I created it, here in the event graph, in the event graph here, we are getting the player pawn, we're casting to astronaut, we're setting that to be player, but we are not playing as astronaut in this level. So the health bar is going to get an error trying to read the player variable, which is astronaut, which is the parent class for our character. Hopefully that makes sense. But the none pawn does not have, it is not astronaut, so you're going to get an error. Let me show you what I tried. I tried two methods and one of them worked. Remember that we have created the health bar in the astronaut blueprint right here. Alright, it was in the event begin play of the sequence then 2, and we had the health bar code right here, which was basically create health bar and then add to viewport. And then I wanted to get the condition, I wanted to get the current level name, and if it was exactly the same, which is string exactly the same, just write equal exactly string, and then the name of the map. Only then we could get the health bar to show up and actually create the widget of the health bar. That did not fix the issue, so what I did was I took the code that was there and then I put it right here in the level, not in here, my bad, and not in invisible, in sample map 1, get the level blueprint, and over here I created the sequence and added the code right here. So you can see this is the code for the health bar. We create the health bar in this map. Basically now the health bar is only going to be created in this map. So if we're in any other map that we do not have the same code, obviously, then the health bar is not gonna appear. So if you want to have more maps or any purpose, just add this health bar code to them so you have the health bar, and remove it from the character blueprint. Okay, I found this to work for me, and now let me show you the final product. So we're here in non-visible and we can play here. You can see that we have these buttons, and if you manage to hear these sound effects right here, you can add them for these as well. I have the tutorial for the sound effects. It is in the pause menu. Setting the sound effects is in that tutorial. Now let me show you the final product. So now if we are here and spawn as the Astro character 2 for a change, let's go here. You can see that we have our code right here, and we can sprint, we can jump, we can fail to land, we can crouch, and then we can do all of those things. And now that I have the code for the health bar, you can see that if I reduce my health and increase it, I can do that as well. So everything works just as if we were selecting our characters manually, but now this time we have this cool widget doing it for us, and now you can basically do that with infinite characters and skins and everything, and give your players infinite choices, basically, as many as you would like. That was it for this tutorial for today, and I hope to see you in the next one. Until then, remember to subscribe and watch my previous tutorials if you haven't. See you next time.
That's the stuff. I should watch more videos.